Cleveland Browns quarterback Shedeur Sanders has reportedly refused to suit up against the Cincinnati Bengals after an explosive confrontation with head coach Kevin Stefanski. Sources close to the team described the situation as a complete organizational meltdown just days before a crucial divisional matchup. This isn't your typical quarterback-coach disagreement, it's a franchise-defining power struggle threatening the very structure of Cleveland's season. For those tracking the Browns' dysfunction since Dillon Gabriel's suspension in training camp, this latest eruption confirms the chaos only continues to escalate. According to reports, the incident began during a closed-door team meeting last week. Stefanski allegedly questioned Sanders' leadership, suggesting Dillon Gabriel deserved more first-team reps despite his recent suspension. The criticism reportedly targeted Sanders' preparation, decision-making, and pocket presence. At first, Sanders stayed composed, absorbing the remarks silently. But witnesses say something shifted, his demeanor turned from calm to confrontational. The meeting ended abruptly as Sanders walked out without a word, leaving teammates stunned. Team insiders suggest this was more than a heated exchange, it was the breaking point after months of mounting frustration. Sanders, who entered Cleveland with the expectation of franchise quarterback treatment following ownership's public draft night endorsement, now finds himself at the center of a rebellion unlike anything the Browns have faced before. Instead, he ran into coaching staff resistance, constant comparisons to Gabriel, and thinly veiled resentment over what many saw as preferential treatment. Every practice carried an undercurrent of subtle undermining. Every film session came with unnecessary nitpicking. Every team meeting included veiled jabs questioning his readiness. Sanders took it all in stride, staying professional and still delivering strong performances. But Stefanski's public outburst seemed to be the final breaking point. Let's break down Wednesday's practice meltdown. According to sources, what began as a routine 7-on-7 drill quickly turned into a defining confrontation. Sanders started sharp, completing 3 straight passes and moving the chains with ease. On his 4th attempt, a miscommunication with a rookie wideout led to an incompletion. That's when Stefanski stepped in, halting practice entirely. In front of the entire team, coaches, and staff, he reportedly tore into Sanders' read progression. Not constructive feedback, but a humiliating breakdown. One witness recalled Stefanski sneering, "That's high school-level processing." Gabriel makes the throw blindfolded. Sanders' response stunned everyone. Instead of biting his tongue, he calmly removed his helmet, locked eyes with Stefanski, and said, "I'm done with this disrespect." Then, without another word, he walked off the practice field and left the facility completely. Players stood frozen, trying to process the unprecedented scene. Veterans who'd seen countless blow-ups said this was different. It wasn't just an emotional outburst, it was a calculated statement. Sanders knew exactly what this meant, yet did it anyway. And the fallout escalated almost instantly. Within hours, his representatives contacted Browns management, making it clear Sanders would not suit up against Cincinnati unless he received a formal apology and the coaching staff was addressed. The ultimatum hit Berea like a nuclear bomb. Owner Jimmy Haslam, who personally pushed for Sanders' selection, suddenly found himself trapped in an impossible dilemma: back the quarterback he handpicked or side with his head coach's authority. Either choice risked disaster. This wasn't just a clash of personalities, it was a battle of organizational philosophy. Kevin Stefanski represents the old-school coaching hierarchy. Respect earned over time, authority enforced through discipline, and leadership forged through systematic development. His Minnesota background, analytical mindset, and methodical progression system all emphasize patience rather than instant results. Sanders, on the other hand, embodies the modern era of athlete empowerment, immediate impact, social media influence, brand consciousness, and a demand for validation over conformity. These philosophies simply cannot coexist without conflict. Meanwhile, the locker room reflected the tension. Most of the offensive linemen backed Stefanski. Veterans who've protected countless quarterbacks valued structure, consistency, and accountability. They understood that true development requires patience, a luxury Sanders wasn't interested in. A starting guard reportedly remarked, "The rookie needs to earn his stripes before making demands." Defensive players are staying publicly neutral but privately admit they're drained by the nonstop drama. With Joe Burrow looming and playoff stakes on the line, the Browns should be locked in, but instead, quarterback controversy dominates every discussion. Receivers are caught in the middle. They've built real chemistry with Sanders during camp, praising his arm strength, competitive fire, and ability to extend plays. Yet, they also respect Stefanski's system and understand that success requires everyone moving in sync. In an attempt to unify the group, Amari Cooper reportedly called a receivers-only meeting, but it only deepened divisions. Younger players back Sanders, while veterans lean toward stability. No common ground was found. The fan base, meanwhile, has erupted. Within minutes of reports breaking, social media turned into a digital battlefield. The hashtag #FireStefanski trended nationally, fueled by angry fans demanding change. Discussions quickly grew toxic, with personal attacks overshadowing reason. Local sports radio is swamped. Every caller has a strong opinion. Season ticket holders are threatening cancellations, merchandise sales are plunging, and the franchise faces a PR nightmare just days before a primetime divisional showdown. From Cincinnati's perspective, it's a gift. The Bengals are preparing methodically, studying Cleveland's tendencies, and expecting the usual game plan. But now, the Browns' starting QB may be sidelined, distracted, or trying to lead a fractured locker room. Bengals defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo reportedly told insiders off the record, "We're preparing for everything, because clearly, they don't even know what they're doing." Normally, comments like that never see daylight. This is bigger than just the Browns. The entire league is watching closely, aware of the precedent at stake. If Sanders forces a coaching change, player empowerment in the NFL could reach unprecedented levels. If Stefanski holds firm despite ownership's leanings, coaching authority will be reinforced at a critical moment for the sport. The outcome of this standoff shapes future negotiations, draft strategies, and even the organizational structure of professional football. Timing couldn't be more critical. Week 6 against Cincinnati carries enormous weight. It's a division rivalry, a battle for playoff positioning, and it unfolds on national television. The Bengals arrive healthy, motivated, and ready to make a statement. Joe Burrow is playing lights out, Ja'Marr Chase is tearing apart secondaries, and their defense improves with every game. Meanwhile, Cleveland looks like it's unraveling in real time. The quarterback refuses to participate. The coach is losing control. Ownership is paralyzed by indecision. It feels like surrender before the kickoff. Sources inside the building described Thursday's atmosphere as funeral-like. Coaches attempted normal preparation while privately bracing for their starting quarterback's absence. Players went through walkthroughs with backups. Management scrambled through emergency conference calls with ownership. Media relations drafted multiple statements to cover every possible scenario. Nobody had answers, because nobody had control. Sanders holds leverage with ownership's backing. Stefanski holds authority through his contract. The impasse drags on. Even practice squad dynamics are twisted. Dillon Gabriel, fresh off suspension, suddenly finds himself as a potential emergency starter. The rookie third-round pick remains professional, grinding film and taking mental reps, yet the absurdity isn't lost on anyone. Suspended for confronting Sanders, now possibly starting because Sanders confronted Stefanski. This circular dysfunction defines Cleveland's season. From Sanders' perspective, his grievances are real. Drafted with ownership's blessing, promised opportunity, marketed as the franchise savior, only to face resistance, undermining, and public humiliation. Every mistake magnified, every success dismissed. Stefanski's criticism during practice wasn't an isolated flare-up, it was the boiling point of a pattern. Sanders uprooted his life, embraced pressure, carried expectations, yet received nothing but disrespect. His refusal looks less like selfishness and more like self-preservation, but Stefanski's stance isn't without merit. Football demands structure, discipline, and accountability. If a rookie quarterback decides when he will or won't practice based on personal slights, the precedent is dangerous. Today it's refusing criticism. Tomorrow it could be demanding control of the playbook. Eventually, coaching becomes impossible. Kevin Stefanski has witnessed organizational chaos before, enough to know how it destroys franchises. His current stance is about preventing that same collapse, even if it costs him personally. According to multiple sources, Browns ownership held an emergency video conference on Friday. Reports say Jimmy Haslam demanded an immediate resolution by any means necessary. The pressure is crushing. Stefanski's job is on the line, Andrew Berry's future is under evaluation, and even assistant coaches have started updating their resumes, bracing for a potential overhaul. One executive summed up the tension: everyone's protecting themselves because someone's getting blamed when this explodes. Veteran players try to intervene, holding a players-only meeting Thursday night without coaches or management. Team captains desperately searched for unity, some kind of message or solution to prevent a total fracture. Instead, the meeting reportedly devolved into heated arguments. Offensive players defended Shedeur Sanders' talent, defensive players questioned his commitment, and special teams asked why they were even dragged into this. No resolution was reached. If anything, the divisions grew deeper. Meanwhile, Sanders remains silent in public, but sources close to him say his position is unchanged. No practices, no games, not until respect is shown through action, not words. His inner circle, his father Dion, his agent, and personal advisors, are united. To them, this is a defining moment for his career. If he backs down now, they believe he'll be disrespected forever. Standing firm, they argue, forces recognition. The national media circus is pouring gasoline on the fire. Every network has turned this into a storyline. Skip Bayless defends Sanders passionately, Stephen A. Smith sides with Stefanski's authority, and Pat McAfee calls the whole thing absolutely bonkers. Every opinion is weaponized, every prediction dissected. 2 scenarios loom large. Scenario 1, Haslam fires Stefanski before Sunday, appoints an interim coach, and Sanders plays, bringing temporary peace. Scenario 2, Stefanski stays, Sanders sits, Cleveland gets embarrassed on the field, and massive changes hit Monday. Every outcome carries brutal consequences. The psychological battle is impossible to ignore. Sanders knows his leverage. Young, gifted, marketable, and backed by ownership. Stefanski can't win the PR war. Every complaint makes him look petty. Every punishment feels extreme. Sanders just needs patience. Time is on his side. Stefanski understands this, yet surrender would permanently shatter his credibility. He isn't just coaching this roster, he's auditioning for his future. Behind closed doors, whispers grow louder. Teams have already checked in on Sanders despite Cleveland's public denials. The asking price is sky high, but desperation reshapes negotiations. Imagine Sanders in a different uniform next season. The humiliation for Cleveland would be historic. Still, dragging this dysfunction out may be even worse. At least a trade offers finality. Meanwhile, game day barrels forward. Cincinnati is locked in, methodical, professional. Cleveland, on the other hand, is crumbling in full view. The Bengals don't need extra motivation, they're watching their division rival implode in real time. The contrast alone has become the story for Browns fans. This is the nightmare. Decades of instability at quarterback, and just when they finally find a potential franchise cornerstone, the organization threatens to burn it all down. Some fans ride with Sanders, others defend Stefanski, but most just want wins. No matter who delivers them, the ripple effects stretch far beyond Cleveland. This saga forces a bigger question. In today's NFL, who really holds the power? Owners, coaches, or players? At what point does player empowerment cross the line? And when does a coach's discipline become self-destructive? These aren't just Browns' problems. Their league-wide dilemmas. Saturday arrives with no clarity. Sanders is working out privately, studying film on his own. Stefanski prepares as if the backup will start. Players are trying to focus amid the circus. Media runs wild, fans rage, and the front office is paralyzed. Haslam is flying in. Berry has scenarios on the table. Stefanski and Sanders will meet separately. The stakes couldn't be higher. Someone's Browns career ends within hours. Maybe more than one. This isn't just about Sunday, it's about the future of the franchise. As one veteran Browns exec admitted privately, "I've seen every kind of dysfunction in this building. This tops it all. We're not just debating play calls anymore, we're negotiating whether our starting quarterback will even take the field. That's not football. That's madness." The upcoming clash with Cincinnati isn't just another division game, it's an organizational referendum. Does ownership back its coaches or its players? Can authority coexist with empowerment? Will Cleveland set a precedent that reshapes professional football forever? The stakes couldn't be higher. If Shedeur Sanders wins this battle, every young star across the league gains new negotiating power. If Kevin Stefanski holds the line, coaching authority gets a vital lifeline. There's no middle ground here, only winners and losers. This isn't a standard quarterback controversy, it's a fundamental question about who truly controls victory in the NFL. The answer could define Cleveland's immediate future and possibly change the league's entire power structure. Sunday is coming fast. The Bengals look ready. The Browns? Nobody knows anymore. What should have been a promising season now looks wasted by dysfunction. A talented roster crumbles before meaningful competition even begins. The quarterback refuses to play. The head coach loses his grip. Ownership's credibility vanishes on national television. This is complete collapse in real time. Can anything be salvaged? Can broken relationships be repaired? Does this franchise even have a functional future? No one knows. What we do know is that Cleveland has once again found a brand new way to fail its fanbase. Dysfunction has become the Browns' most consistent trait, chaos polished into an art form. This is Cleveland Browns football.